Today I'm going to talk to you about creating value when negotiating. Now, lots of time we find ourselves focusing on money, price, or margin, and unfortunately this makes us less flexible and creative, and many times results in us compromising, which is something I discussed on the previous video, is not always the best way to negotiate. Now, what happens when you're focusing on price or margin is you may lose sight of the fact that negotiation is about value. So you must understand and remember that value is relative and varies on the situation. Now here it's critical to make sure that you have done your homework with the client and really understand what the other party values. Usually it's very different than what you think they value. One of my customers sells online recruitment solutions, and they have lots of competition, whether it's LinkedIn, recruitment agencies, or even newspapers. I mean, competition is everywhere, right? Now, one of their sales reps was telling me a story about how she made a sale where the customer started comparing her to a cheaper and much weaker product than hers. So here's how she overcame that. When the customer asked her about the price and wanted to start comparing her services with the other cheaper option, she asked the customer, "Can you put that on the side?" And asked him, I'd like to know what are some of the challenges that you'd like to overcome and what would you like to achieve in the recruitment process. Now with that knowledge, she was able to specifically show him how her product was worth the extra few $100 that he had to pay per month. See, if the perception of her services wasn't clarified and differentiated, the customer would have never seen the real value of her solution and would eventually complain about price. Here, there is nothing she could do about it. So remember, be creative and only compromise when the difference is small. Do not confuse price with value. See, price is what you pay, value is what you get. And your job is to find the value about your product or services that your customers is willing to pay for, right? See, I'm not saying for you to fake the true value of your product or service, unless you're an award-winning actor or a good liar. And typically, pushy and uneducated salespeople are like that, and most of us are not, so can't deal with that. Now, you walk a very fine line when creating value during negotiation, and people can tell if you're exaggerating or not being congruent. The key to creating value is to ask what other people value. I call this need analysis. This is the key element in all sales negotiations. Unless you do this one step, all you'll end up doing is haggling. And negotiation is not haggling. And haggling is not what true negotiations are all about. If you find yourself haggling rather than negotiating, you could be throwing lots of cash out of your pocket. Again, was this helpful? I look forward to seeing you and sharing with you how to become a power negotiator here in the Middle East. Before you decide to register, make sure you are ready to discover how to create more value than ever before. Can you handle this? If so, I'll see you on Saturday, July 14th from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Ibn Battuta Gate Hotel here in Dubai. Seats are filling up fast. Click below right now to register and reserve your spot. See you then.